What if America had never gained independence from Great Britain? Would we be drinking tea at 4 p.m. instead of iced coffee on the go? Would we still call football soccer? And most importantly, would the world's most powerful nation have come into being? Hey everyone, welcome back to Specvio, where imagination meets reality. If you love exploring the world of what-ifs with a blend of storytime and science, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a mind-bending, thought-provoking experience like this. Today, we're diving into one of history's greatest real-life conundrums. What if America was still part of Great Britain? Let's travel back in time, reimagine history, and discover how one decision, the American Revolution, shaped not just two nations, but the entire modern world. The world that never rebelled. It's 1775. The American colonies are restless, tired of British Texas, resentful of being ruled from overseas. But think, what if they had never rebelled? Let's say the colonies somehow negotiated better terms instead of declaring independence. Perhaps King George had offered them representation in Parliament. Perhaps Washington had remained the British general. In this alternate timeline, America probably never existed. Instead, we would have something like the British North American Federation, a vast dominion stretching from the Atlantic to the Pacific, governed under the Union Jack. That means no American Constitution. And no we the people, number 50 stars, just a single Union flag flying on both sides of the Atlantic. So, what would government look like today? If America had remained under Britain, we would have a system similar to Canada's, a constitutional monarchy with a prime minister, and perhaps a parliament in Washington and New York. There would be no office of president, either Biden, Trump, and Obama would probably not even be mentioned today. Instead, imagine Prime Minister George Washington leading the first British-American cabinet. But here's the twist. With so much land, so many people, and so many industries, this so-called British America might have absorbed Britain itself. London would have been the historic capital, but Washington or New York would easily have become the economic powerhouse of the empire. Now imagine a global economy under British rule. Instead of the US dollar dominating trade, the British pound sterling would be the world's reserve currency. The New York Stock Exchange? Perhaps just a branch of the London Stock Exchange. Silicon Valley? Perhaps Royal Valley. Britain's Industrial Revolution, fueled by American resources, would be unstoppable. Coal, cotton, iron, gold, oil, all under the control of a great monarchy. It also means there would be no American dream. The rush to riches culture would be a little different. Success would depend on social class and loyalty to the crown, not on personal ambition at all. The phrase land of opportunity would instead refer to Australia or India or China. This is where things get really interesting. The American Revolution did not mean American independence, but it also means there would have been no War of 1812 and no Civil War or rebellion. Slavery might have been revived because Britain abolished it in 1833, or it might have been maintained in the colonies to this day. It depends on how much control Britain had over things. Then there might never have been a world war. But if America had not existed, consider who would have stopped Hitler without a free America. Would the Allied forces still have existed? But without America's massive industrial support, victory would have been much harder to come by. Britain probably held on to victory to some extent, but barely. And the bomb that played a major role in ending World War II? The Who bomb today would probably be called the British Empire's nuclear weapon, developed somewhere in Canada or New Mexico. Fast forward to today. Imagine waking up in the British Commonwealth of America. You drive on the right side of the road, but your car's speed is measured in kilometers. Your passport says, Citizen of the British Commonwealth of America. Tell me in the comments how strange that sounds. Instead of fireworks on July 4th, there's Empire Day, every June. And the presidential inauguration? It would have been replaced by a royal visit from King Charles or perhaps King William. Your Netflix shows would be full of British accents, and Hollywood might have been born in London on the Pacific instead of Los Angeles. The story of the moon landing would also be connected to Britain, because its independence is the key to America's spaceflight. But if that independence had never come, perhaps humanity's greatest achievements would have been buried under the British crown. Would we still be called American? Without independence, the fierce individualism, the innovation, the rebellion that defines American culture might never have existed. Jazz, rock and roll, hip-hop, Hollywood. All of these might have evolved differently, shaped by British tastes in royal censorship and sports. Sorry, football, cricket, and rugby might be ruling the fields instead of baseball and the NFL. So let's pause here for a second. If you had to choose, would you rather live in modern-day America or in the British Commonwealth of Nations under the Crown? So what's your verdict? Tell me in the comments, Team Freedom or Team Empire. I'm curious to see which side wins this one. And if you're from the UK, how do you think history would have played out? Would America being part of the UK have been a blessing or a curse? Leave your thoughts below. I'll read them all. But here's something to think about. If America had remained part of the UK, there's a strong chance that freedom, democracy, and innovation would have spread much more slowly. No constitution, no Bill of Rights, and probably no Declaration of Independence, which would have inspired revolutions all over the world. Without America's example, the modern world would still be living in the shadow of monarchy, not freedom. So maybe the shot that rang out around the world in 1776 didn't just create a new nation. It also created the idea that people could govern themselves. And that thought changed everything. So, what if America had never left Britain? We would have had better tea, but we would have lost our spark of freedom forever. Thanks for watching, Explorer. If you enjoyed this dive into alternate history, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and share it with someone who loves to ask what if. And remember, the past can be written, but the future is always ripe for the imagination. And that was Specvio, where imagination meets reality. See you in the next video. Take care. Goodbye. In short, the world would have been different in every way.